And the next poem is a poem for My Sister Paula by Sofia Venables from Tamalpais High School. I'm starting to suspect Tamalpais, I think, must have had something happening. Flame Boy by Ariel Garson from Tamalpais. Oh, good. Oh, she's here. Yes, Ariel.
Brother, your head is on fire. Flaming locks dance hand in hand with the wind. As untamable as a lion's, yours is a mane radiating above the savanna grass, turning the morning orange dawn green with envy. Your head is on fire. Brother, your skin sparkles, speckled as burning stars in a pale universe. Your smile is a supernova. Amongst the pinpricks of light lie the scars of a wildfire, concealed with the ashes of bravery. Your skin sparkles. Brother, your soul is igniting. Your laughter crackles throughout the night. Never has your fire and your ocean blue eyes and its storm of tears drowned the blaze, but made my darkest nights brighter. Your soul is igniting.
And the next poem is Glass Bottles by Emily Crone from Marin School of the Arts. Oh, good, here she comes. Welcome, Emily.
I am not me on Saturdays, staring through glass bottles at a swirling room of people I don't even like, pressing my nose against yours in the dark, and dreaming of kissing people who would rather see me dead than in their passenger seat. I am not right on Sundays, crossing every healing scar with a fresh mistake to forget my Friday, remembering the taste of your tongue as I dig my nails into my forearm, 1 inch, 2, until the surface breaks. I'm barely breathing on Mondays, peeling back scabs to remind myself of where I went wrong, inhaling car fumes and 3 cups of coffee to write shaky letters on an unforgiving sheet.
So our next poem is Gypsy by Anna Reagan from Novato High School. Good. Welcome, Anna.
Gypsy. When she swallows oceans, her voice echoes with the sounds of waves crashing on shores and seabirds calling. When she drinks in the night sky, her eyes fill with constellations and stardust blows from her blushing lips. When she eats up autumn, she whispers of leaves that swing and dance in the crisp winds. She is a crescendo of wilderness. She is nature's gypsy.
And the next poem is Mine, Period, by Skylar Home from Novato High School. Please welcome Skylar.
I don't tell my parents anything because I do not trust. My heart is mine and they don't believe me. I take my pendulum pulse. It is weak but still my own, oscillating to my wavering breath. My anathema flesh is self-absorbed, vain, maybe, rude, probably, but I am a glitchless survival machine, quintessential victory, epitome of lonely. Stick a Band-Aid on my soul and call me healed so I can wear it like a badge and show it to my parents.
And the next poem is Yellow by Edith Frederick from Tamalpais High School. Oh, she
couldn't be the
Okay.
one they asked me to, the parents, she would like me to read. Okay? Yellow. The girl sat staring at the yellow wall. The yellow wall with peeling paint, the fading shade of bleak, melancholy yellow. Yellow, like the sun, she thought, but not because the sun brings life, and it's a lemon and a flower and my dad's hair. This is a different type, supposed to be one thing, but something entirely different. Her brown pigtails bobbing. Maybe yellow isn't always beautiful and happy and well and good. Maybe sometimes it's peeling and fading and bleak. And maybe it's just a wall, and maybe it's okay. And she said to herself, I'm okay.
And the next poem is 12 O'Clock by Miles Watson from the Marin School. No? The home team, Marin School. The next poem is This Is But a Beginning, Alessia Hernandez from Sir Francis Drake.
Are you sure? Oh, good. Good.
Wow. Small, pink, bare hands stretch forward, plump, little fingers uncoiling, reaching out to collect pieces. It's a puzzle. Pieces scatter, orbit. Where to go, where to find them. A lifetime will tell. This is but a beginning. Strong, worn hands slowly, stubbornly try to make pieces connect. Where do they fit just right? A frustrated flick or a hairy knuckled forefinger sends pieces flying farther. Where did they go? A lifetime will tell, but this is just a beginning. Shaky, papery hands tiredly coil inward, cradling one last piece. What is to happen next? A lifetime is hold. This is yet another beginning.
The next poem is Monster in My Closet, Naomi Tatarsky Bridges from Sir Francis Drake.
The monster in my closet. The monster in my closet never comes out. He keeps his toes and his nose to himself, I suppose, for who knows why else he hasn't been glimpsed with a shout from my fear-parched lips and a tighten of grips of my terrified teeth and my fists on my sheets. The monster in my closet is stout. He is purple and gurgles, and his gory green spittle slips saliva slide soundly down to my carpeted ground. This monster's tongue's tied in various knots, and when he coughs, he is spotty with spots on his body, which is rotty in smell, and ratty in tail, and slimy as snail. The monster in my closet's a terror to see, and his yellowy reek leaks out to me, though I only know the stuff in this poem from the things I compose in my spare and scared time, when the dark gives way to my feverish rhymes, and I quiver and quake, and wait for his clawed paws to show or his eyes to glow. And he never does, though, So I never will know what the monster meddling in my closet is about. See, he never comes out.
And the next poem is What a Peculiarity by Jeanette Hassan from Tamalpais. Great. Welcome.
What a peculiarity. I must be the first houseplant to have thought such thoughts and feel the freedom of flight. I wonder what my destination is, thought the petunia, before it made contact with the linoleum floor and died. Above on the wooden table, a tabby flicked his tail and went on his way.
And the next poem is My Father's Sadness by Naomi Tartarsky Bridges. I think I'm getting better at saying it. Please welcome Naomi.
In his green sweater and wispy hair, he is planted down in a pale tunnel. I've lost him in the whorls, beyond the turn and the soft brink of childhood where the sun fled in, while we children lived blindly in its flash and were spun away. My father doesn't look up from shelling nuts and scraping the pieces of summer from the rim of his glasses. Thinking of other things, I lost him there, in his green sweater. And I always knew him gentle, but with sadness to a depth that hurt me. I met barriers before him and cried desperately for someone to let me see the other side and know who he was really. But when he heard me, he tried not to show, because he cared too much and didn't want to have to see. So he kept shelling peanuts instead of climbing the stairs out and finding my childhood, with my face on the doorstep saying, why? So he could try to answer.
And the next poem is Desperado by Kevin Garcia from Tamalpais High School. You here? And the next one then is Wooden Heart by Disa Johansson, Redwood High School. No. And then the next one is Separate Worlds by Ellie Bauer, San Rafael High School.
So many people, lost in their own worlds, too caught up to notice anything else, barely even a glance my way. They have no idea what I'm about to do, but maybe that's because I'm caught up in my own world too.
And the next poem is The Race by Anna Reagan from Novato High School. Welcome, Anna.
Above the mantel hangs a gleaming, pallid face. It dons a toothy parchment grin and whispers of time and rhythm and pace. Inscribed upon its furrowed brow do inky numerals lie, round the chin and up the temple, 2 hands twist and strive. They chase the spinning digits on a trove of clinking cogs where dust and specks reside. Up and over, under and through, a race to infinity, side to side, top to bottom, circling the globe of temporal divinity. The wheeling hands surge and quake, their anger bubbling anew, For as soon as they race past one, they've got to make it by two. Never do they quit, and never do they finish. They've got a job to do. They must hold fast and point their fingers true, for it is their task to tell the time without falling askew.
So the next poem is Overcast by Kendall Liston from San Marin High School. Welcome.
Overcast. My mind often gets foggy to the point where I cannot think. My eyes frequently rain to the point where I cannot see. My mouth is constantly windy to the point where I cannot speak. It's hailing in my head to the point of a consistent pounding. My jaw breaks, my bones ache, and it seems I cannot move. But my fingers linger sometimes on the loved with tranquil skin, because I want to remember what it's like to not feel like a hurricane. Thank you.
So our next poem is Untitled Number 3 by Bella Gossman from San Domenico Upper. Welcome.
I ran my hand through my hair in exasperation, playing as if my problems were strands, and the faster they fell to the floor, that always gave me splinters, the faster my ice-cold issues would melt into an unidentifiable puddle mixed with cheap alcohol and tears, too many daylight hours spent drunk, and I've never held a gun, but I learned what it's like to be on the other end of one when I stared up at the sky until the sun burned a bullet hole into each eye. That evening, the weed I didn't know how to smoke still tasted like lavender honey in my nostrils from across the room. And the week before, I was breathing in fumes of bullshit spoon-fed into my lungs by the exhaust of the rusted red car in front of me, and I never turned the radio off, so I'm not quite sure what alone feels like. I'm sorry for not religiously remembering how your lips would curve up at the sound of my name, and every once in a while I wish that I went to church so that on nights when sleep is as foreign a concept as hunger, I could pray to a God instead of pray that she didn't notice.
So the next poem is Muddy by Carolyn Noble from Redwood High School. Is Carolyn here? No. And then this is the last of the anthology, and then we're going to go to the prize winners. So Burns by Vanessa Gutierrez. Is she here? No. Okay, so I think what that means is that we're ready to give the prizes and to listen to the finalists and then the final prizes. So it is my great joy to introduce you to Jackie Kudler, who has been a friend to me since I first came to Marin. I went to the Marin Poetry Center. I saw it in I think, the Pacific Sun. And in fact, the first event I went to when I moved here was the high school poetry celebration, which was then at Falkirk. And I walked in and I thought, these are my people. And I volunteered and became the coordinator of the poetry contest for the high school students for several years. And then I went on and did other things. But Jackie was my mentor and has been in many ways and a great friend and a wonderful poet. And so she is going to be delivering the awards and introducing those poets. Please welcome Jackie.
Thank you very much. These poems were wonderful. And each of you here, your poems display a particular use of language that we can identify immediately as poetry. The great Mill Valley poet Jane Hirschfield said, poetry is like a 5-gallon bucket that holds 10 gallons. And that extra 5 gallons is the particular way poets use words full of music, sound, color, and metaphor to convey an emotional message. Each of you were able to do that with your poems. This is a wonderful occasion. And I just wanted to say, I judged these last ones this year, and I want you to know that if somebody else had judged them on another day, it might have been a completely different lineup. And in fact, if I judged them next week or next month or next year, I might have lined them up differently. Each of you is worthy of a prize, and I want you to know that you deserve it. So with that, I want to introduce the honorable mentions, and Julia Apfel from Redwood High is going to read Lost Balloons. Is she here? Oh, there she is. Where are they? Here we go.
Lost balloons. The Lost Balloon Convention was last Thursday. Those floating orbs, let free incidentally, all made their way somewhere. I'd like to think they ruminated about being lighter than air, being held onto and then set free, soaring into the troposphere, great parties they had attended, and the transient nature of balloon existence. It was a short soiree, I would think. Untethered, they had places to go. The atmosphere was an impatient host. Deflating, they fell, swirling, vibrant-hued, and forgotten, down to the great ground below.
Thank you. Particular kind of fancy and use of metaphor in that poem that I thought was terrific. The next two aren't here, and our wonderful Clara Blotter will read. Damian Wilson from Sir Francis Drake, How to Defeat Awkward Dinners.
How to defeat awkward dinners. Never skip the fat secrets that are hiding in her apron. Always watch your father shaking hands as you divide up the casserole. If there are sprawled silverware, you are doing it wrong. Luckily, the words will drain down the garbage disposal, but never grab them. The salt from the angel's dragging sorrows will end up in your cup to replace orange juice. If the pans clatter, don't shy away from the sound. Make sure to always sit where the invisible child is slowly beckoning, and only in the season of autumn. As he does so, the truth will stream from the chicken. It will peer past your shrugging shoulders and stop you. A droplet of hope will escape the chandelier, and the canyon will have no end. Then, with the final slice of huckleberry pie, you expect sweet, but taste despair. For this is life, and it is our job to add the sugar. Another poem from Drake High, an honorable mention. It's called Street Artists by Katie Wearing. The man sits hard on his heels, arms swoop like pendulums, great arcs for which make his knuckles bleed. Children stop to watch the colors blossom from beneath his fingers while parents tug, embarrassed, because what he draws is a map, and his lips form shadows. silhouettes with little meaning. They don't like the way he pauses at unlikely moments, a syncopation of delayed instances. It makes them uncomfortable, the way he hurls whispered threats and shakes his fist at the sky. But the kids understand that it is hard sometimes to be a dream chaser. They do not fear the way he replies in questions. And when he steps back from what he has painted, they do not see a jumble of clashing colors as their parents do, but rather the flavor of raindrops on an upturned face and the sound of smeared reflections upon city streets.
So, our third place winner is Carolyn Roa from Sir Francis Drake. Carolyn?
Making circles. How is this working for you so far? All of this crawling, aching pace. This sitting up at night, waiting for your heart to burst, waiting for the sun to explode, while everything you've ever broken lies in front of you. How are you doing? How are you doing as you crawl over ruined bridges and seep into the cracks of collapsed tunnels? Are you enjoying your self-obsessed annihilation? And do you remember how it felt to burn your hands on the stars, to have smoke blow through your ears as you broke pine chairs on the backs of your brothers? When you rode sparrows around the world and taught little girls in Bangladesh to play hopscotch? When you wasted no time circling upturned hats on the sidewalk because you knew something everyone else did not? But when God closes a door, he makes sure to lock it. And now, as you salt every piece of ice and drink from oil spills, I wonder what your stars would say.
This one. Well, and well, you can get this down. And our second place winner is Alessia Petrovsky from Sir Francis Drake.
How to wear a hat. Wake up on a Thursday. If the afternoon sun flickers, go fishing. Remember to gather your apricots and almonds. Don't drop the pail. Push your wheelbarrow to the top of a cresting wave. Knit a pair of socks for a dragonfly. Perhaps the skyline deceives you. Simply shoulder your telescope and watch as the coffee percolates. Don't forget to water your grandmother. Keep your friends close and your mustard closer. Watch out for basking whale sharks. Don't mix stripes and polka dots. Try gaining flexibility with sea snails. Iron and press out the wrinkles of an old onion. Telephone a bee's nest. Ask for a sample of packaged shrimp. Tie your sock laces. Put the hat on your head.
There's so much wit and imagination and surprise in the poem, and the manipulation of language to do it. And our first place winner is Rosalind Hernandez from San Domenico, and she's going to read a poem called One Day. And I don't know what to say about it except to say that John Keats talked about poetry as expressing the holiness of the heart's affections, and I think we find it in this poem. Is Rosalind here? Good.
Very difficult to follow all that really excellent poetry. Okay.
One day, you will no longer love me. You will no longer love the sound of my voice when I first wake up, or the way I refuse to eat food in even numbers. You will no longer love my knobby knees, and you will soon forget the color of my eyes. My name will no longer roll off your lips like the sweetest laughter, and a new face will consume your thoughts the way mine once did. One day, you will return my heart tucked carelessly in a shoebox that you long ago shoved under your bed and forgot about, the broken pieces knocking against each other like the saddest wind chime. And once I am reminded that most broken things can be fixed, I will begin to forget. In my head, your name will be lost like car keys, and memories forgotten like anniversaries. I will put new things on the shelf where your heart used to be, before you came and asked for it back. And I will crumple up papers with foolish plans of our future scrawled on them, toss them into the wastebasket like a mediocre office worker. And the imprint that your smile left on my brain will be put under construction and repaved with longing. One day, you will no longer love me. I hope that day does not come soon.
Well, I think they're all wonderful, and I thank everybody for coming. And there's refreshments and all kinds of fine things that are still there. So come back next year. And everybody, keep writing. You all have a gift for it.